It's the black bear.
Yeah. Just go. Oh, he's coming around, circling back.
Good morning. So it's the morning of day 6. And just in case Sarah doesn't get a pit toilet outhouse video, this is what we have here at Lake Elizabeth Foot, an enclosed outhouse. Nice. It's 9 a.m. We just had a small black bear. I heard it coming through the woods, going to the food prep area. And as soon as we made a little noise and he saw we were there, he kind of veered off towards this way and kept going. So hoping there isn't a bear waiting for me when I get out of here, but there won't be. And a little warning sign. So this is more enclosed than some of the other ones. And we'll see you in a bit.
Good morning. Let's see what kind of pit toilet we have today. Okay, today it looks like we have an outhouse. It looks like it was just moved forward a little bit. See all those old sticks? So let's see how it is. Ooh, it's a little stinkier. Closed lid. So that was probably I can't say gross because it wasn't that bad, but like the least nice pit toilet that we've seen so far. It was stinky. The floor was kind of saggy, but at least I didn't have to dig a hole.
Good morning. It's Thursday, August 18th, day 6. We're at the food prep area for the Elizabeth Lake Foot campsite. We just, as we were like packing up our packs, a small black bear came crashing through that we heard and just scared him away. So our first bear.
Yeah, in
Glacier. So there's that. I wasn't able to get really good video of it, but it was a bear. Yeah, so for the most part, we're like the only ones following what they recommend as far as the food prep area. You always drop your food off here before you go to your site, and then you always come back here. You know, basically never bring your food to the campsite, and pretty much every group here is just doing that. So we'll keep following the rules, but
it's frustrating
a little bit, but that's the way it goes. So yeah, we only have about 4 miles to Helen Lake. There was a hiker we talked about last night who was having issues. He was going there, so at some point we'll get an update from him and see how he made out. And
his feet are, ouch.
There's only 2 sites at Helen Lake. Neither one of them are very shady. One has a little shade, so we're hoping to score that one if we can. Yeah, so it's going to be a pretty leisurely hike out to Helen Lake, get set up. May even do a little exploring today, depending on, how we feel and when we get there. So it's going to be a super relaxing couple of days. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
And we'll check in probably at the lake. See you then.
I don't know if you can see it, but we're sharing the trail with some sort of bird. Let's see if I get close. There we go. Come on, little buddy. Move off the trail. He says, no, I want to stay on the trail. All right, we go. So here we are coming into the campsite at Helen Lake. You can see the sign here, and then this big meadow, and then there's the lake and the beautiful views. And there's Brian. So we're just in the food prep area. I'm in the food prep area with our packs. Brian went over to put our poles and tent poles and trekking poles over to the campsite we want, because nobody else is here, just in case someone gets here. And we just wanted to show you that the food hang area is the pole that should be there is on the ground. So this will be an interesting throw. I have faith that we can do it. But yeah, the other campsite that's here is just down there, so pretty close to the food prep area and not a lot of privacy, so we want the other one. But then up here is a glacier. I don't know which one, but it's beautiful view from food prep area. I might, for Ray Lakes, try to find like a tiny little... Okay, so we have a little outhouse sign, but I don't think it's actually a house. Let's check it out. Okay, so let's see what we come upon. We are at Helen Lake, and my guess is it's gonna be similar to the one at Stony Indian. Oh, they changed it. It's not back there anymore. It's just right here, and it is like the one at Stony Indian, but ruh-roh, something has been eating the back of it. Eek!
So it's day 6, August 18th. It's about 2 in the afternoon. We're at Helen Lake. We had a shady spot by the beach that we just kind of lost, so we're regrouping and moving to a shade. Probably at the food prep area or at the tent site, just until the sun moves a little bit. But there's a little feeder stream coming in here. The water is noticeably colder, so I just threw a beer in there just to make it a little bit colder than it was. It was still fairly cool from being in the bear vault and being in the pack and in the shade once we got here. So just gonna make it a little colder, and might do a little walk around the shoreline. Tomorrow, gonna head up to this area. I've been up there before. There's less snow there now, a month later than when we typically have been here. So see if I can get all the way up to that ridge line. Had to stop a few hundred feet short just because there was a big snow field. And that's where we are right now. Still no neighbors yet, but it's still early. It's only 2. And we'll check in at some point later today. So a little update, it's day 6, about 2:30 in the afternoon. Helen Lake is great, but right now at this time of day, there's like no shade on the shoreline. So we could have like taken our rain fly down on the shore and rigged something up, but we have the tent site we have this nice tree, and it's super shady here. It's like super comfortable. So we'll just hang out here for a little bit until we can find more shade by the shoreline. So it's not always
the wind picks up or
the
something.
wind picks up. It's just, yeah, you'd be baking on this shore right now. I mean, if we were in the water, that'd be fine, but you know, this is a nice compromise and super comfortable right here. And we don't have to be in the tent because the whole Glacier trip, the bugs have
Don't
been
say it.
very manageable. Like at dusk,
This morning there were a few skeeters.
yeah, a few, but nothing like what we've
Ugh.
experienced. And even at dusk, there were a few skeeters showing up, but nothing like the Tetons or Wind River or Yosemite. So it's been very nice to be able to hang out outside of the tent. And the only thing we're managing right now is really the sun. And just because there's not a lot of like big trees by the shoreline, there's not a lot of shade right now. But that'll change as it gets a little later. And in the morning, it'll be nice. So that's where we are, just kind of hanging out by the tent in our little shady spot. We just had some cheese and pepperoni by the food prep area. There was a little bit of shade there. I've got a beer icing up in the stream, and our bear vaults are still very, very cool. So Sarah's wine in her bear vault would be fine as well in a shady spot. So we'll check in later. Just gonna relax here. So still day 6, it's about 4 in the afternoon. The lake has got a little more choppy, a little more breezy. But just scouting out for tomorrow, since we're going to be here another night, that patch of snowfield up there is where I'm going to want to end up and see if I can get to the little ridge line above it. I don't know if I will be or not. So I have to traverse this this cliff here. This cliff here. I have to be above all this junk, all that cliff. So I might access it. There's this little shelf here. I don't remember exactly how I did it last year. That looks like where I probably would have gone up maybe, because I know I did go up on this side somewhere. So that makes sense. There is this waterfall here. I don't know if I crossed, there's like a big boulder there that possibly, right there, possibly crossed that, don't remember. But the goal is to get up to this cliff bed. There's definitely goat trails up there. And then follow the goat trails, get to that big patch of snow, and then see if I can make my way above it. Maybe, maybe not. It's so far away, but it's big cliffs there as well. So that's the plan for tomorrow. When I came down, I just came down. I took like a direct route down here somewhere, got to the shoreline and just walked back. So I could always go up that way. But I think I want to at least give a go to trying to get back up over here, because it was a kind of a cool shelf up there to go check it out. And what we're doing right now though is we're going to our stream refrigerator. Our beer's been sitting in the cold stream for a couple of hours. It should be ice cold. It was already cool to the touch, but now it should be ice cold. Sarah's just right there on the shore. Even though we don't have a lot of shade right now, with the breeze coming in from the lake, we're gonna see if we can just hang out here, be comfortable. If not, we can just go back to the shade at our campsite or the shade at the food prep area. We don't have any neighbors yet. It's getting to be like neighbor time. I'd say between 4 and 6 is when a good percentage of people show up for camp, right? So we're still waiting to see if we're gonna have some neighbors tonight. But it's always cool. It's going into your kitchen to the fridge to grab your beer. You basically walk a few hundred feet down the lake shore until you get to a little feeder, not even a stream I'd call this, it's so small. But we'll use this again tomorrow for sure. And take off the rocks that have been keeping the sun at bay. Oh, that's nice and cold. And we've got a nice tasty IPA from Treehouse. Probably my favorite IPA they do, green. So we're gonna crack this open and take in the views. So just hanging out, actually about 30 feet from the shoreline of Lake Helen. It's only at my knees right now. Enjoying my beer. Just soaked my Techwick shirt and my hat to cool off a little bit. Feels great right now. And I'm basically just taking a step back and looking at my line to attack that, hopefully the top of the pass tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how far we get, but it's going to be a cool day of being up there and poking around, hopefully to get to that way, that snow field, that patch of snow right there is where I've ended up before. Big pile of bones up there, and the patch looks a little smaller than it did last time I was there, like 5 years ago, so hoping maybe I can find a way to actually get up on that ridge and see the other side. It should be Iceberg Lake on the other side, nearby Ahern Pass. So it'd be cool to check out, but we'll see. It'll be fun. You can't really see any goat trails from like here. I could pull the binos out, but once you're like up and in it, you will see all the goat trails. And then we got a little plane flying by. Give them a cheers. The sun is still really strong, so we tried sitting on Lake Shore, Sarah and I, for about 10 minutes, but there's not like a big breeze coming off the lake right now, and the sun is still pretty strong. So Sarah retreated to the shade, and I'll be joining her shortly once my clothes dry out a bit. Just want to walk around the lake a little bit and, enjoy it. So probably have dinner in a couple of hours. It's nice when you have 2 nights at the same spot. So we have 2 nights here, and then we wrap up Glacier with 2 nights at Cosley Lake, which is, I mean, let's face it, all the lakes are spectacular, right? And even like the lake we haven't been at before, Elizabeth, last night was amazing. Most of them don't have big drop-offs. You can actually walk pretty far out into the lake before it's up to your waistline, which is really nice. Wildlife here, Sarah saw a deer coming back from the lake. I missed it. I've definitely seen moose here before, so we're going to keep our eyes open as it gets closer to dusk. But I'm really going to enjoy having a morning coffee on the shoreline. That'll be really nice, just to kind of take everything in and then head out later in the morning to just do a little off-trail re-exploring, re-checking out some fun areas, seeing if we can add any wrinkles to it from the last time. That's it for now. It's just super quiet, super peaceful, and we're going to see if we have any visitors, whether human or otherwise, come by the lake tonight. We'll keep you posted.
Hey there! Hey there! Hey bear! Thankfully, he's walking away. I think it was a grizzly. I was just sitting here knitting and I saw like something hopping in this meadow, and I thought it was the deer that had been here before. So I got up thinking I would just take a video or some pictures of the deer, but it was a bear and he went down to the water. I really think he's like playing with the flies. Flies ahead.
Maybe.
Gonna check on things.
So day 6, Thursday, August 16th. It's almost 7 p.m. We're eating a little later tonight. The sun is just about to go under the ridge and then we'll be in shade everywhere. But day 6 was bear day.
Bear day.
So this morning at the food prep area at Elizabeth Lake, when we were leaving, I heard a little rustling in the woods and we saw a smaller black bear come out on the trail, was heading right for the food prep area, saw us, and he just diverted away. And that was a really quick encounter. So we got here to Helen Lake. We're still the only ones here, by the way. And Sarah saw a couple of deer, right?
Yep, and I was just knitting by the tent and I thought it was the deer again, so I stood up to get some video of the deer, and it was not a deer. It was a grizzly bear, we think.
A smaller one.
Small one.
Not a cub, but not a huge one either.
Correct.
So maybe 1 or 2 years old. Who knows? We're certainly not bear experts, but it wasn't huge and it wasn't a baby.
But I just yelled at it a bit and it kept moseying around the lake, and Brian saw it too because he heard me yelling.
Right, because like Sarah was at the tent in the shade and I had basically not taken a dip in the lake, but put all my clothes in the lake and put it back on. So I was like in the lake and then by the shoreline just having a nice beer and taking in the views. So I heard Sarah yell, "Hey bear." I got up and then I saw the grizzly, just like a little, I wouldn't say a meadow, but an open grassy area next to our campsite. And it basically goes to the shoreline. And that's where the grizzly went. So I was at the shoreline. So I was able to get good video of the grizzly walking along shoreline for a little bit. Well, you saw it, but I don't know how good it's going to turn out on the video. Then he took a swim for 100 feet, 200 feet, then got back on shoreline. So then we just kind of had our own TV show. Sarah came down with the binoculars, and we could actually see it pretty far, almost to the other end of the lake. It basically stayed around shoreline, a little above shoreline. And then we lost it after about 45 minutes, but we sat there another 45 minutes wondering if it was going to backtrack or go around the whole perimeter of the lake, and we haven't seen it since. So maybe it's got a hangout spot there, it's got a den there. I mean, they're normally nocturnal, so I would expect it to come back, not necessarily like right by our camp again, but to come back this way at some point, and do its nightly rounds. So pretty cool. We were, all the bears were Grand Tetons, so we're finally seeing some bears somewhere else. So really cool. And again, very chill bear encounters. They're not interested in us. They're just doing their thing, and give them plenty of space, and it's cool to check out. And they look really big in the binoculars.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're doing our dinner. I have a grilled chicken jambalaya. I think it's fine.
Cheesy noodle casseroles with sugar snap peas, and I added some tuna.
So there you go. So we'll have a little dinner. I don't think either of us are really that hungry, but we're going to force ourselves to eat. Then I'll probably make a little coffee for the tent, and we'll hang out in the tent.
It's like finally cooling down.
Yeah, so we're almost at the end of day 6, and we're still on our first propane canister, which is nice. And I'm on my second battery pack still, which is great for day 6. I've actually boosted up everything and the iPad once, so still doing good on battery power on this longer trip. So we may see you again, but this could be it for day 6 unless we get some more bear encounters, and we'll see you in the morning.